As we've said, Harvey may soon bring catastrophic flooding to the Gulf. Here's a look at the storm from the International Space Station. It is the most powerful hurricane to target the U.S. in more than a decade. Extreme water levels could turn deadly in the Houston metro area. DeMarco Morgan is about an hour's drive from the downtown Houston area. He's in Galveston, where the threat of storm surge is intensifying. DeMarco, explain the dangers of storm surge for the people for that area, for the Galveston area.
Well, Anne Marie, it's extremely dangerous. We're already starting to feel the outer bands of Harvey right now. The wind is picked up and it's raining. But when you talk about storm surge, it is the major concern whenever there's a hurricane. That's because it causes a number of deaths. In some cases, the most deaths during hurricanes. But this is a 17-foot high seawall right here. It was built actually back in 1901, more than 100 years ago. And it was built to protect the city from storm surge. That's because you had about 8,000 people who died in that hurricane. The last hurricane to top the seawall was Hurricane Ike. That happened in 2008. But let me talk about storm surge for you. Storm surge is when the water is pushing in so fast because of that hurricane. It comes in, it has the ability and the power to move cars, knock buildings down, homes down. But you got to keep in mind that what comes in has to come out. So when it comes out, it's going to drag everything along with it. So storm surge, I'm glad you talked about it. It's extremely dangerous. Officials are always warning people. Those who live around the Gulf Coast, anywhere where there are places that can flood extremely badly, you got to watch out for storm surge. Now, Manny talked about a ghost town. Galveston is not a ghost town right now. We've seen a ton of traffic. The power is still working. The lights are working. People are heading to work. We've seen runners come by, some with no shirts on, others with no jackets on. One guy even drove by Anne Marie and said, "Go home," told us to go home. So they're pretty confident that they will be okay. But officials are saying, hey, you got to play it safe, and this is not looking too good.
Yeah, really. Well, it's nice to know that people are keeping their exercise routines up. I don't know what that's about.
Right.
There is a voluntary evacuation order in effect, but clearly, according to you, there's still a lot of people out and about. Are people choosing to stay? For the people that are choosing to stay, what are they doing to make sure that they are safe?
Well, it appears that most people are choosing to stick around. We've seen people sort of packing up their homes and boarding up their windows and stuff. But I've spoken with some folks who live here in Galveston. They're actually evacuating to Houston, which could see a large number of rainfall, a large amount of rainfall, I should say. And, you know, whenever it rains, Houston could get 8 inches and it starts to flood in areas. And then you have people in Houston that I've spoken with who are evacuating to Dallas and parts of Oklahoma. So the evacuation is taking place. Again, right now, it's a voluntary evacuation. But all you have to do is tell me one time to get out and I am gone, because this system, any type of system, especially a Cat 3, it is dangerous. So people need to try to get out while they can.
Yeah, that's a really good advice, you know, DeMarco, because what ends up happening is people stick around and then they decide to leave later on. It's too late. Emergency crews can't get to them because it's at the height of the storm. Hopefully people will be heeding the warning. DeMarco Morgan in Galveston, Texas. Thank you very much, DeMarco. You also stay safe.
Bet.